ago, in a village by the side of a great mountain, all the people were getting ready to celebrate Christmas. Main Street was crowded with shoppers. Some were picking out their Christmas trees, others were buying gifts, and others food for a Merry Christmas dinner. But there was one person who did not care about Christmas. He lived in a cabin far up on the mountain. He was a fearful-looking old man. No one knew his name. Everyone just called him the Hermit. And now at Christmas time, everyone had forgotten about the old hermit. Everyone except the pastor of the church. He stood watching the gray smoke rising from the hermit's cabin. The pastor's son, whose name was Peter, came and stood beside his father.
What are you looking at, Father?
At the old hermit's cabin. I wish you would come to our Christmas service.
But, Father, everyone is afraid of him.
Yes, but if I were young and strong, I would climb the mountain and invite him to come to Christmas service.
The hermit's cabin did not seem to be far away, and so an idea came to Peter.
I am young and I am strong. I will climb the mountain and invite the hermit to the Christmas service.
It was beginning to snow again as Peter started up the mountain, but he felt sure he could reach the cabin and return home before nightfall. But it was farther to the hermit's cabin than it had looked from the village. He had climbed for hours. Now it was growing dark, and the cabin was still far up the hill. Peter was growing very tired. The wind howled and the snow fell thick and fast, but he pushed on with all of his strength.
I must reach the cabin, or I'll die in the storm.
But it was so cold and the wind was blowing against him so hard that Peter's strength was gone before he had reached the cabin. He staggered and fell.
Help me! Help me!
But the old hermit heard Peter's cry and came to the door of his cabin.
Who are you? What do you want?
Help me!
Come, boy. Come inside and get warm. You will die of cold and hunger in this storm.
The hermit brought the lad into the cabin and gave him a bowl of hot broth.
Why did you come up the mountain? Surely you did not come to see me.
But I did come to see you. I came to invite you to come to the Christmas service in the village church.
But the old hermit only shook his head and walked away.
I'm sorry you made such a long trip. No, I will not come. I do not believe in the one they call the Christ.
Later that night, while the old hermit was sitting by the fire and smoking his pipe, Peter came and sat down by him.
Why do you not believe in Jesus?
because I cannot believe God ever became a man. Why would the great and powerful God become a man?
I'm only a boy. I cannot answer your question. But I thank you for inviting me into your cabin. Now I must go home.
But you cannot go home tonight. Look, you would die in this storm. You must stay here with me. In the morning the storm will be over, and then you can go home safely.
Peter was so very tired that immediately he fell asleep in the hermit's bed. The old man sat by the fire, smoking his pipe. But a short time later, Peter was suddenly awakened. He saw the hermit looking out of the window.
What is the matter?
Look out the window and see.
They saw a flock of birds in the snow. The birds were lost in the storm, and they were cold and hungry. They had been attracted by the light of the cabin. The hermit came to the door with his lantern.
Come, birds. Come inside and get warm. You will die of cold and hunger in this storm.
But the birds flew away.
They were afraid of me. Poor birds. They could not understand. I wanted to save them.
Wasn't there some way you could make them understand you?
No, they're only birds. I would have to become a bird too, to make them understand.
After a while, Peter fell asleep again. But the old hermit sat by the fire thinking about the strange things that had happened that night.
Is God trying to tell me something? Why did he send the boy here, and why did he send the birds? The boy cried for help, and when I asked him to come into my cabin, he understood. I am glad I saved the boy. But the poor birds, they could not understand that I wanted to save them.
Then the old hermit remembered something he himself had said to the boy.
Wasn't there some way you could make the birds understand you?
No, they are only birds. I would have to become a bird too, to make them understand. Oh, now I know what God is telling me tonight. Of course, God had to become a man, so men could understand him, even as I would have to become a bird to make the birds understand me. Oh God, forgive me. I have been blind to the truth, but now I understand, and I believe you had to become a man that we men may understand you.
Peter was very surprised the next morning when the old hermit told him he had decided to go to the Christmas service. Together they started down the mountain. And so that evening, everybody came to the little church in the village to hear the wonderful story of the birth of Christ.
Oh, bring him
Again they heard how God had come into the world in the person of Jesus Christ, so that all mankind could understand that God loves everyone and wants to save us all. Everyone in the village wondered what had changed the heart of the old hermit, but only the old hermit himself knew how a boy and a flock of birds had brought him back to God. Oh, come, morning,